Okay, so now we welcome back. Today we'll be covering the next few portion of what is digestion. So for what is digestion, the main outcome you need to know is the function of the enzymes and listing not just the enzymes, but what are the reactant, the substrate, and how it leads to the end product. So a recap is previously we were talking about for digestion, there's two main types of digestion. We have the physical digestion and also the chemical digestion. So for chemical digestion, it's where we would involve the breaking down of your large food molecules into smaller soluble molecules that can be absorbed in your body. And this is usually done with the help of enzymes. On the other hand, for physical digestion, we are looking at really how food is being chewed in the mouth. So that's where the teeth comes into play. The stomach would actually have this churning action, like it's like a mixing kind of thing. And lastly, you have the emulsification. This is usually done by your salts, okay, from your stored in the gallbladder. So physical digestion, the main intention is about increasing the surface area to volume ratio of your ingested food, such that it is able to improve the efficiency of your enzymes to act on these food particles. This will lead to a faster rate of digestion. So in the mouth, what exactly happens is your salivary glands would then be stimulated to secrete saliva, and this saliva will contain your salivary amylase. The saliva will mix with the food and soften it, leading to the salivary amylase to also digest your starch to maltose. So this is the first one of the main parts of the digestion you need to know. So one way to easily remember, I usually write it in this form lah, where I'll put in the substrate first, then an arrow to the end product. And in this case, it is crucial that you write the word salivary for these enzymes to indicate where it is produced. For amylase, it can also be produced in the pancreas. So pancreatic amylase works only in the small intestine, while salivary amylase works in the mouth. So the optimum pH for this is actually neutral, so it's at pH 7, which later on you realize that when it goes to the stomach, it becomes very acidic. This will then cause the enzyme to denature for the salivary amylase. The food is further broken down by physical chewing to increase the surface area to volume ratio so that the enzymes can digest it. And this is the chewing part is the physical digestion. Whereas the digestion by the salivary amylase is the chemical digestion. This is then rolled by the tongue into a small bolus or bolus, such that it can be easily swallowed into the esophagus. In the stomach, on the other hand, that's where you have your gastric glands that contains your enzymes as well as your hydrochloric acid. So gastric juices having the hydrochloric acid helps to perform a few function. So this one is a common exam question where it actually will firstly stop the action of the salivary amylase by denaturing it. This will indicate that there is no digestion of carbohydrates or starch in the stomach. It also provides a low optimum pH, meaning it becomes very acidic. And in the stomach, such that only the enzyme pepsin is able to digest protein. Okay, so you can see here, protein will be digested by pepsin to form polypeptides. The third function is that it helps to kill microorganisms in the food. So this is like, you know, preventing yourself from taking in bacteria and what's not, but it kills most of it. So this kind of the question that can be asked is what is the function of the hydrochloric acid in the stomach? So first is to stop enzyme activity for salivary amylase. Second is to produce an optimal pH for your enzyme pepsin to work. And lastly, the third one is to really kill off any microorganism. Remember that it cannot kill virus. It can only kill bacteria, which is a microorganism. Then pepsin will then digest proteins into polypeptides. Do take note of this. I try not to use the word protease, use the word pepsin. It's a better form. And then the food will then remain in the stomach for 3 to 4 hours so that there is actually full digestion before you can actually form something called chyme. These will then be slowly passed on into the small intestine in small amount. In the small intestine, what happens is the chyme would then cause your pancreas or stimulate your pancreas to produce or to secrete pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice contain quite a lot of enzymes, and these would actually be passed on to the small intestine. So the key enzyme that is being produced is pancreatic amylase, protease, and pancreatic lipase. So that's where you can see the words. That's why I say in the stomach, don't use the word protease, rather use the word pepsin. So the gallbladder would then also release your bile that will help to emulsify the fats into smaller fat globules such that you could actually have digestion of fats. The walls of the small intestine will produce the enzymes, maltase, protease, and lipase to further digest this particular uh, um, nutrients further. And that's where in the stomach, the pH value will also, in the small intestine, the pH value will also change. It will move towards pH 8, such that you will actually start digestion. Okay, so do take note that from stomach it's acidic, but in the small intestine, it is actually more or less quite neutral. So to later on, I'll be showing the examples of how each of it is being digested uh, for this particular food substance. But do take note that we are seeing a few things here. Your pancreatic juice will have these three types of enzymes, and basically you also have your gallbladder to release the bile. So these are the key things that aids in the digestion, and the final one is the pH is actually 8. Another thing in the small intestine that occurs is actually it would absorb water lah. So one new component is that it would also absorb water. So this is also another part of what happens in the small intestine. Okay. Okay, so what we have here is we can see that for the three food groups that we talked about just now, right? We have in the small intestine, there's the carbohydrate digestion. So what happens is starch is digested in the mouth by your salivary amylase and the small intestine as your pancreatic amylase. So maltose is further broken down into glucose by the function of maltase and then to form glucose. Glucose is the one that is being absorbed. Maltose is still a bit too big, so it won't be actually absorbed by the small intestine. So this happens in the small intestine. For the mouth one, it's just mainly starch. So in small intestine, you have this. In the mouth, you have your starch digested in by salivary amylase to form your maltose. Okay, so this is the full breakdown of the carbohydrate digestion. In the protein digestion, there is a few place where protein is digested. It is digested in the stomach. It is also digested in the small intestine. So what actually happens in the stomach? Generally, in the stomach, what we have is your protein is digested into your polypeptides by the action of pepsin. Whereas in the small intestine, what we do have is these examples, where your protein is digested by your polypeptides by the function of your protease. Okay, and then at the same time, so your pancreatic protease, which is your trypsin. And then your polypeptides are then further broken down into your amino acids by the other intestinal protease. So intestinal protease to form your peptidase into your amino acid, which is then absorbed into the small intestine. So that's why it is highly recommended not to use the word protease because it's very generic. You should be using the key types of enzymes and what is being broken down. Okay, to differentiate the breakdown in the stomach as well as in the small intestine. Okay, so this is the part happens in the small intestine. So this is for protein digestion. Then lastly, for fat digestion, do take note that the reaction of the big fat droplets by bowel salt, this is actually a physical, okay, important digestion. This is not a chemical digestion. So it's a physical digestion. And this process is what we call emulsification. So I would strongly advise you to not to use the word emulsification rather than the word physical digestion, so that you will not be confused with is it digestion or what, things like this. So digestion in this case is will only happen in the action of the fats being reacted with your lipase to form fatty acids and glycerol. So this is a chemical digestion. So what happens? All this will only happen in the small intestine. So what happens is really for chemical digestion, right? Um, it can occur with or without emulsification. That means if let's say a patient undergo some surgery to remove the gallbladder, fat can still be digested because lipase is present. It's just that it won't be so efficient. So for the fats, why do we have the bowel? Is because fat digestion can only occur in the small intestine as compared to carbohydrate or proteins that can have other parts of the small intestine. So the carbohydrate you have the mouth, proteins you have the stomach. But for fats, it's only in the small intestine. That is why having the bowel to help to emulsify the fats will help. It's like in a way the bowel is like the teeth to help to break it down into smaller pieces. Surface area to increase the surface area to volume ratio such that the enzyme lipase can act on it. Okay. So we can see in a nutshell and summary, starch is usually digested in the mouth and also in the small intestine. The enzyme in the mouth is your salivary amylase. The enzyme in the small intestine is your pancreatic amylase. For maltose, it will only happen in the small intestine. For protein, again, there is many places of digestion. It can happen in the stomach. It can also happen in the small intestine. For polypeptides into amino acid, this can only happen in the small intestine. And in the fats, we only have it in the small intestine. So do take note that nothing happens in terms of digestion, happens at the large intestine. Your large intestine is the main area where they usually go and all the further absorption of water and things like this. So in a nutshell, this is the table to summarize the breakdown of what is being broken. And this is important that you have to remember for exam. Okay. So the next part is absorption, which we will uh, which we will cover in the next